There is a whole lot more silver needed in military equipment, ranging from missiles to submarines to nuclear weapons to all of the high-tech electronic componentry that goes into advanced weaponry. And that it has been the military-industrial complex and the banks surrounding them that have done their very best to suppress the price of silver so that the military-industrial complex could continue to setting off bombs and missiles and selling them and enriching this massive complex that seems to be hell-bent on always bringing us to war.
Several metals experts and investors have been talking about silver price manipulation for years. Talks about the steady manipulation of metals prices became even more intense and louder when the United States government announced a $1 billion fine against banking giant JP Morgan for spoofing the metals market. In 2020, the U.S. Department of Justice announced that the New York-based commercial bank had entered into a resolution with the Department of Justice to resolve criminal charges related to two distinct schemes to defraud. The first involving tens of thousands of episodes of unlawful trading in the markets for precious metals futures contracts, and the second involving thousands of episodes of unlawful trading in the markets for U.S. Treasury futures contracts. A DOJ spokesperson revealed that traders of JP Morgan's precious metals and U.S. Treasuries desks had for over 8 years engaged in separate schemes to defraud other market participants to enhance profits and avoid losses. Last year, a federal jury in the Northern District of Illinois also convicted two former precious metals traders at JP Morgan. They were convicted of fraud, attempted price manipulation, and spoofing in a multi-year market manipulation scheme of precious metals futures contracts that spanned over 8 years and involved thousands of unlawful trading sequences. According to Andy Schectman of Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments, the issue of silver price manipulation runs deeper than just commercial banks in the United States. Andy believes it is a very complex and disturbing issue that very possibly might even involve the military-industrial complex. During a recent interview with the Silver Slayer, Andy talks about a Pickaxe article written by John Little, which he says cites some solid sources about the continued manipulation of silver prices. We will now bring you clips from the video. But before we do, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
I think when you talk about realistically, look, take the price of gold right now. Let's see what gold is right now. It's $19.85. And let's divide it by 7. Let's just play that game and you get $283. Keith Neumeyer, the CEO of First Majestic Silver, is telling the world that what it is coming out of the ground at is a ratio of 7-to-1 globally. And you have a situation where a handful of large commercial banks have held down the price for a very long time, where, according to Ted Butler, Bank of America has 1 billion ounces short in the OTC market. Why would anyone be short 1 billion ounces of silver in an environment like this? And so here's the bottom line. I think that the article that was written by the Pickaxe has validity. I think when you try and ask yourself, why the hell would silver be held down and maintain a massive concentrated short position? And mind you, I didn't write this article. I think it was very, very well researched, and I think it was very articulate. I can't speak to the legitimacy of it all, but basically what he said was that there is a whole lot more silver needed in military equipment, ranging from missiles to submarines to nuclear weapons to all of the high-tech electronic componentry that goes into advanced weaponry. And that it has been the military-industrial complex and the banks surrounding them that have done their very best to suppress the price of silver so that the military-industrial complex could continue to setting off bombs and missiles and selling them and enriching this massive complex that seems to be hell-bent on always bringing us to war. I couldn't understand why these banks would hold down the price of silver, but it sure makes a hell of a lot of sense. And his whole thesis was that there's more silver needed in this stuff than they're letting on. And the only way they can continue.
At this point, there is no denying that silver's price is heavily manipulated by the powers that be. But the question is, for how long can they continue to keep up the charade of manipulation, especially given the current economic conditions? In the United States and elsewhere in the world, the financial system is crumbling. More and more people are waking up to the reality that the fiat system is not sustainable, and the cracks that are showing now will only keep widening until everything completely crumbles. When that happens, the banks and every other entity involved in price manipulation will lose control, and prices will finally take off. Let's get back to Andy's interview.
I think ultimately this will have a major impact on the dollar, first and foremost, and on the cost of energy. But when you talk about the value of, let's talk about gold for 1 second. And because unfortunately, I should have really figured it out in silver, but in gold, just last week, it reached all-time highs in the second and third largest economies in the world, in China and Japan. It's reached all-time highs in most currencies around the globe, in the respect that it is the strength and the unjustified inordinate strength of the dollar, the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket, that has blurred what gold and silver's real effects are. Now, since day one, you and I have talked a lot about my idea of the BRICS and what happens when the dollar loses its sole settlement status for oil. The deal we struck with the Saudi kingdom in 1974. Well, we're going to protect you, and for that, you'll value oil in dollars and take the proceeds of those dollar sales or the oil sales and put them into treasuries, recycle them, make a return. Well, look how that's working out for the Saudis right now. Not only are we inflating away our currency to worthlessness, the treasury market will go down over the last 3 years as being the worst bear market in history for bonds. And so not working out so well. And nor is our ideological aspirations perhaps lining up with the Saudis. We told them we're going green. We signed an executive order. Prior to that, we weaponized the dollar, made everyone think, hey, maybe we're next. This is the rallying cry, the coalition, if you will, of safety in numbers. You talk about hypocrisy, the way that part of the world views the United States. We invaded Iraq 20 years ago, 2003. They would tell you it was done illegally because we were in search of weapons of mass destruction. What do you know? We didn't find them.
Right.
We topple their regime. We destroy their country. We put in a new regime, right? In 2022, they made $90 billion in oil revenue last year. They don't get to decide what to do with that oil revenue. It goes to the New York Federal Reserve. They asked the U.S. a few days ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, hey, can we have $1 billion, please, of our $90 billion that we made last year? And they said, no, you can't. Because they said no. They're sanctioning 14 of the banks right now for trading with Iran to buy natural gas to cool their homes in the midst of 130-degree summer. They get sanctioned. This is a country we supposedly liberated, and we still have a military presence there. We are still controlling their oil revenues and telling them what they can and can't do with them. This is the coercion and the hypocrisy that the world is pushing back against. This is the hegemony that the world is pushing back against. And when you look at a situation where the interests of the Arab nations are not aligned with the West, when you look at BRICS controlling roughly 80% of the world's oil, with Iran, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Russia, this is a problem. And when you talk about the fact that what has made the dollar the world reserve currency is indeed the protection of the Saudi kingdom, who has signed an agreement with Russia to protect them the day after we left Afghanistan in an embarrassing fashion, who has joined the BRICS, who was on the Belt Road with the other OPEC countries, all of them on the Belt Road Initiative, which in and of itself is 75% of human population, who joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization along with Iran, joining BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Not a small group, the largest regional financial and military organization on the planet. Joined the BRICS New Development Bank, told everyone in Davos, the World Bank meeting, hey, we're open to taking other currencies for oil. I was shocked up until that point how fast this thesis I've had for 3 years has sped up.
This is a poignant moment in the global economy, one for which most metals investors have been preparing for a very long time. On one hand, we are witnessing a shift from a unipolar world, largely controlled by the United States and the West, to a multipolar world, where more countries and regions outside the West have a voice and influence. On the other hand, the current financial system supported by the West is crumbling, and the new powers that are rising are showing their full support for a commodities-backed system. Do you think that the next era of global economics and geopolitics will be really favorable for gold and silver investors? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. All of these actions help boost the YouTube algorithm so our videos can reach for metals investors. Thanks for the support.